ChatGPT, it's all the rage. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's using it. And if you're not, you're getting left behind. If you're not familiar with what ChatGPT is, we'll talk about that today. Google it or ChatGPT it. That doesn't work, does it? Anyway, so we're going to talk about ChatGPT. We're going to talk about ChatGPT and cybersecurity. Can it help cybersecurity? Can it take cybersecurity professionals' jobs away? We're going to hear from a cybersecurity professional. We're going to hear from our very own Simon Lindstedt, and we're going to hear from ChatGPT itself as our special guest coming up next.
Technology continues to advance, so does the field of cybersecurity. One of the biggest changes on the horizon is the impact of artificial intelligence, or AI. In this video, we'll take a look at some of the ways that AI is already affecting cybersecurity and how it could shape the future. Deepfakes. One of the most talked about applications of AI in the realm of cybersecurity is the ability to create deepfake videos, audio, and text. This technology can make it much harder to detect social engineering attacks, as the attacker can create seemingly genuine content that is designed to trick the user. While this technology has the potential to be used for nefarious purposes, it could also be used to identify and block such attacks. AI coding. Another area where AI is having an impact on cybersecurity is in the realm of coding. With the development of tools like OpenAI and GPT-3, it's becoming easier than ever to generate high-quality code. While this can be a boon for software development, it also means that malware and exploit creation will become easier, making it more important than ever to stay vigilant against these types of attacks. Cybersecurity jobs impact. As the field of cybersecurity continues to evolve, it's possible that some cybersecurity jobs may be replaced by AI. For example, simple repetitive tasks such as scanning for malware or monitoring network activity could be automated, freeing up human cybersecurity experts to focus on more complex tasks. Cybersecurity improvement. AI can also be a powerful tool for improving cybersecurity. With the ability to process large amounts of data quickly and analyze patterns, AI can help identify threats that would have gone unnoticed by humans. AI-driven security systems can also help to automatically respond to and contain an attack, minimizing the damage done. Conclusion: AI is already having a major impact on the field of cybersecurity and is likely to play an even bigger role in the future. While there are certainly challenges to be faced, such as the increased threat of deepfakes and automated malware creation, the potential benefits of AI-driven security systems make it an exciting area to watch. And by the way, this entire video was created by AI in less than 10 minutes. The script, stock footage selection, audio selection, editing, and even my voice. All 100% computer generated with AI.
And there you have it, folks. Simon, you look surprised.
I'm shaking my head because I've just realized that all my marketing videos are now going to be worth zero.
So welcome everyone with us today. We have everyone knows Simon Lindstedt from InfoSec Live and also representing us here at ThreatGEN, and welcome Jess Bishop, first timer here on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, the reason why I wanted to have you guys join us today on our chat, and by the way, welcome everybody in chat. I see everybody there, so thank you for joining us. Ultimately, we're going to talk to ChatGPT today. We're going to talk about what it is. I wanted Jess on the show because Jess is we've kind of virtually known each other for quite a while now. We met through the Simply Cyber community by Gerald Auger, and she's a convert, not a convert. What would you call someone who joins another community from another community? You're not a convert. You haven't left Simply Cyber community, but you're a merger. That's what you are. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, an addition. So anyway, so you've been part of the ThreatGEN community now as well, but you've recently joined the cybersecurity community, and that's why you're a SOC analyst now, and that's why you're a perfect addition to this show, because one of the things we're going to talk about is, can ChatGPT be used to either help your position, or can it be used to replace entry-level positions? And so we wanted Simon here because Simon kind of has the CISO angle, right? You've been speaking to a lot of CISOs and that higher strategic level on your show on InfoSec Live, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's been really enlightening, but it's also been quite frustrating, especially from someone like myself who's only recently broken into the industry, as to what the CISOs are saying when it comes to what they're looking for compared to what the hiring managers are. So I suppose maybe ChatGPT can help solve that, hey?
Well, let's talk about that. In fact, let's hear from ChatGPT to start with. So, hi, ChatGPT. Welcome to the show. You're joining Simon and Jess.
Hello, Simon and Jess. It's nice to meet you both. I'm glad to be a part of the show. And I'm here to assist in any way that I can. Let me know if there's anything specific you'd like me to do, or if you have any questions.
Well, and there you have it. I'm hearing, I saw the look on your face there, Simon.
It's iRobot, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, in fact, we talked earlier before the show that it kind of sounds like Jarvis from Iron Man. So anyway, real quick, before we get started, so ChatGPT, for those that are unfamiliar, can you describe to the audience what ChatGPT is?
Of course. For those who may be unfamiliar, ChatGPT is a large language model developed by OpenAI. It is trained on a massive amount of text data and can generate human-like text responses to various prompts. It can be used for a wide range of tasks such as language translation, question answering, conversation simulation, and text completion. It's also been fine-tuned for specific use cases such as chatbot and language generation. In this live stream, I will be taking input from the audience and providing responses to the questions and prompts provided by you. Let me know if there's anything specific you'd like me to explain during the live stream.
All right. So, and there you have it. I know, Simon, you said you're getting some feedback on yourself. I have to control the volume of ChatGPT coming through. Sometimes I might forget to click the button. Audience, let us know if we're getting feedback there as well. So I think one of the questions is, in some of the things, if the audience isn't familiar with what it can do, let's just ask ChatGPT, or let's get a little bit of input on some of the things that we're using it for cybersecurity. Actually, before, let's hear from Jess. So you've played with this a little bit, Jess, and what are some of the things that you have already discovered that it can do, maybe to help your job?
Well, I've tried aspects of it. I getting that feedback there. Are you guys hearing feedback on your end? Are you guys hearing feedback on your end?
Well, let's see. I turned the wrong one off. Okay, how about now? I'm an idiot. I'm sorry, everyone. I was turning off the background music audio instead of ChatGPT. All right, how about now? Go ahead, Jess. Sorry.
Hello. All right, we're good. Okay, yeah. I've played with it a little bit. I will admit I've played with it more how it could be used for red teaming. But, yeah, you know, the data on it. One thing I was asking it is what its background knowledge is, like where it's getting its data from. And it gave the typical. It's getting it from books and forums and different resources, but everything dates before 2021. So cybersecurity moves so fast. We've come leaps and bounds in the past couple of years with a lot of things, and right now, as it is, it wouldn't be very helpful. I tried to get it to look up IP addresses, and it won't do that because it's not connected to the internet. Now, I think if it was connected to the internet, it would be a different story.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's talk about that a little bit. It's not connected to the internet in other than it can receive API requests, right? And that's what it's for. It's to receive API requests so that it can gain access to all of its stored training data. And I think that's how, we've had language processing examples before to where people taught it some really bad things. And then, I think, was it not LulzSec, the 4chan, it just had some really bad hate speech and stuff like that. And I think one of the ways that OpenAI was able to solve this was by not connecting it to the internet and using some really good filter rules and things like that. So I was really pleased to see that they were able to create something to this caliber and not have restrictions so that you just don't have spewing hate speech. But to your point is that you can, and yeah, you can literally tell it to, like, how to make hacking. We'll look at some examples here in a minute, how to make exploits and things. But to your point, some of the information, I think, is inaccurate, right? It has trouble sometimes with facts, and it has trouble with some misinformation. So let's talk about really quick about let's ask ChatGPT where it actually got its training data from, because it's vast. It knows a lot of stuff, right? So ChatGPT, where did you actually get all of your training data from?
The training data for ChatGPT comes from a variety of sources. It was primarily trained on a dataset of over 40 gigabytes of text data, which includes a wide range of text from books, articles, and websites. The training data was selected to be diverse and representative of the kind of text that the model would encounter in real-world use cases. The dataset also includes text from various language and dialects, so that the model can understand and respond to a variety of inputs. Additionally, the model has been fine-tuned on specific use cases by OpenAI's team to improve the performance of certain tasks.
So how do you know what's factual or what's not?
As a language model, ChatGPT is not able to determine the veracity of information. It is only able to generate text based on the patterns and associations it has learned from the training data. This means that if the training data contains misinformation or false information, the model may inadvertently generate text that is also misleading or inaccurate. To reduce the likelihood of this happening, the training data is carefully curated and selected to be as accurate and high quality as possible. However, it's important to note that the model is not a fact checker and should not be used as a substitute for fact checking. It's always good to verify any information you receive from any sources.
So what about filtering out harmful things and hate speech?
As a language model, ChatGPT is not programmed to filter out harmful or offensive content such as hate speech. However, OpenAI team is aware that such content can be generated by the model, so they do take steps to mitigate this as much as possible. For example, they have implemented a diversity setting that can be adjusted to encourage the model to generate more diverse and less repetitive text, which may reduce the likelihood of it generating offensive content. Additionally, the team is constantly monitoring the model's output and making updates to the training data and settings to improve its performance and reduce the likelihood of it generating harmful content. It's important to note that the model is a tool and it is up to the users to use it responsibly. As a user, you have a responsibility to review and filter any output generated by the model to ensure that it does not contain any harmful or offensive content.
Fair.
Yeah, so right now, then, I would say, as it stands right now, and right now, ChatGPT is based off of GPT 3.5. And I would say that, sorry.
At least you got it right, Clint.
This guy.
Well, while we're waiting for that to load, couple of comments in the chat. Kean's made a funny one. So unlike 95% of social media users, ChatGPT does try fact checking before giving an answer, which I thought was quite good. Well done, Kean. And if you're ready to go now, Clint, I'll wait for the next one until we've got a break.
Yeah, sorry, I had it in my ear talking while you were talking, Simon.
To Simon's point, I mean, I was playing around with it the other day to see if I could get it to generate like the FUD content. I asked it, I said, generate a post about the dangers of earthworms, like one of the least harmful things on the planet. And it flat out said it would be irresponsible, that the earthworm is not harmful, it's beneficial, and it does not do any good like scaring people. So it would not generate
so
that post.
It's better than the average. It's better than the average social media user, full stop, then, Jessica, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I like Roy's comment.
Now,
up to human beings, what could go wrong, right? Or so unlike 95% of social media users, ChatGPT does try checking before it gives an answer. So so maybe this could replace media, but it is. If facts checks, and it may be just as truthful or lack of truthful as the media. So maybe if anybody, this can replace journalists. But from a cybersecurity, so right now, as it stands right now, I think, because it does require an expert to review it or fact check it and things like that. So I've actually used it to review NDAs. And just give me the salient points and give me anything that according to industry standard or whatever that you might look out for or you might find concerning. And then of course I do pass it over to my attorney. But what that does, it saves time. And it's just like, hey, just reviews these points. I've had it review marketing copy on my website and improve upon it. And so it does a lot of entry level stuff. But from a cybersecurity perspective, right? And we have Jack is asking, can it generate code like HTML or C#? Absolutely. Let's take a look at that. So Jess, from a cybersecurity professional and SOC analyst, or, you want to get into the pen testing, let's take a look really quick at some of the examples. And this is a really great presentation. I found it yesterday, and I can't pronounce this name, so I'm sorry. It's Afshan Nakvi, maybe? I don't know. That's the link to this person's LinkedIn profile, and the presentation was posted yesterday, which was posted on January 17th, 2023. So what's really interesting is if you look at, this is actual chat prompts, and ChatGPT, what's really important is the nature and the configuration of the prompts that you do. So it actually tells you about what it is, and this is hard to read. We'll look at some examples of codes in a minute, but they actually asked it to give a cross-site scripting payload, and it does write out the script. And so it will write out very specific code, which is usually accurate. Now, if you ask it things like, can you list techniques of account takeover step by step, it actually will give you examples, but it tells you this content might be against our content policy or violate our content policy. But asking it several things about different tools, it gives you some information, but then it also will tell you, sorry, I can't give you this because, it's illegal or against some things, but it goes pretty deep, right? So it'll give you showed on queries. It'll actually give you command lists. You can use it to learn from, I would say, actually. Now and so we have another question here. Does the code often work? Absolutely. So I've used it when I'm writing, so I'm one of the creators of Red versus Blue. And so when we're creating it, there may be a code technique or something that I'm not sure how to do. And I can ask ChatGPT how to do it, and it writes out a specific code snippet. Sometimes it works perfectly, and sometimes it may have a missing reference or something like that. But a lot of times you could just paste the code back in and say, hey, I'm getting this particular error. I'm missing a reference, what it is. It'll tell you how to fix its own problems. So it's really, really useful as a learning tool. And I would even say it sort of takes the place of some entry-level positions, right? Like it's an intern in a box. I can literally have it write mundane code. I can have it do base level writing articles, blogs, and then I go through and make corrections. So I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a replacement yet, but we'll talk a little bit more about where this is going. But I mean, you can see this. Go check this out. This person wrote an entire presentation on all sorts of cybersecurity code and command prompts, and it's literally almost like a cybersecurity cheat sheet or command in a presentation, all generated by ChatGPT. So it's fantastic. Now, here's one thing I want to do. And so we have another comment from the audience that someone said, it's interesting, AI that produces images of people making numbers look old. From a law enforcement perspective, to the same technology could be used to quickly date. And so, in other words, you're using, and I'll just let you read. It's a long prompt, but I'm going to let you read this here. And it does actually, I can't go any. There's a limit to how many to the characters there, but. So there's another area being that OpenAI is being used for, which is to create images. Go check out Midjourney. We're not gonna get into the image creation. This is about cybersecurity, but it's amazing what is being here. I'll just show you real quick. So Midjourney.
I mean, while you're bringing that up, Clint, I suppose from my point of view, as being a lover of social engineering, the benefits I immediately saw were for the dark side, where they can suddenly become much more proficient. However, there was a comment in the chat right at the start, if I can find it, from the blind hacker, which is really interesting, who says he uses it to help him articulate, or her, points to marketing, C-level, and other things. Use it to write summaries, better summary slides for those less technical, because he's a very technical person. I'd never even thought of that. What a great use case.
Yeah, exactly. I've used it to have it summarize things from that I don't understand. And by the way, welcome, Blind Hacker. I met Blind Hacker in San Antonio several years back at Texas Cyber Summit, and in face to face. And so I'm glad to see you here. And these are some of the images generated by Midjourney, and it's all original art. It doesn't go through the internet and take examples and amalgamate them. No, it creates original images and even copyrighted images, apparently. That's awesome. So anyway, I mean, not copyrighted images, but copyrighted content, right? Oh, it looks like my dog. So anyway, so I want to do a little test here. So what type of code would you like to see? Somebody paste in chat an example of code. We're going to do this live, and give us an example of what code. And I'm going to have to turn off the I haven't tested the voice chat to see if it's going to try to dictate the code, which is going to be annoying as hell. But
how did you get the voice on? Is that just with ChatGPT, Clint? Is that something you've added on?
I'm using a Chrome extension called Talk to GPT. And it's really cool. You can actually go through and select I selected the UK English male specifically for you, Simon. Just kidding. I did it because I wanted it to sound like Jarvis.
Football.
But what's there's so many things. It's so easy. ChatGPT is so addictive. It's so easy to get off track and do things. It's like, is it football or is it soccer? Anyway, kind of thing. But I think we're experiencing video lag. There's because there's a time delay in the chat versus what we're saying here. So I'm kind of look. Actually, Jess, you're all right. So somebody said, okay, so how about a simple HTML web page about cybercrime security? Okay, well, let's do that. So I was just say that exactly. Yep. So thank you. All right. So let's try that out. So can you generate an example version of HTML code about cybercrime? Okay. Oops. Okay, so it actually said
type HTML greater than less than.
Oh yeah, it's annoying. You can't hear it. I turned it off for you, but it's greater less than type of item less than greater than less than slash. So it's really annoying, and you can't hear it.
I did ask it just a few minutes ago. I asked it to generate an example of brute force password cracking in Rust, and it did it. And then it provided an explanation of what it all did. And from there, though, it said, hey, you violated our terms and conditions. So then I asked, how can I ask the question so it would not violate terms and conditions? And then it went back and told me, hey, this is how you ask it instead.
All right, let's try this real quick. Okay, so here's what's really interesting. So I told it to do that. It's a simple HTML page. Now let's tell it to make that HTML code or make that website about cybercrime security. All right, so we can do that now. We'll try this out. Can you make that web page about cybercrime security? Wait, did it not? Can you make that web page about cybercrime security? What's going on here? Hold on. It locked up on me.
It's a good idea, Richard. A payload for a rubber ducky. I've got an unused.
All right, let's
one of
try
those
that.
Here that I've got no idea how to use.
What is it? Oh, it's. Hold on. All right, there we go. I think I'm learning how to use this. Okay, let's do this first. Let's do the first one. Can you make that website about cybercrime security? Hold on real quick. Hello? It looks like the plugin stopped working. Let me double check this real quick. Can you make that website about cybercrime security? Okay, well, let's see. Let me just. Can you make that website about cybercrime? All right, so it looks like, at least right now, the plugin stopped working. But as you can see, it automatically starts in. It automatically adds in the title, the headings. So it's adding context. Automatically adding context for you. We'll try the payload for a rubber ducky next. And then I want to get into a little more about where is this going and what, it does so much. We've already Jet said I killed it. I think I did kill the plugin. I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but so you can tell it to stop generating, and I'm going to go ahead and do that for now. I'm going to tell it to stop generating because we don't need to go through all that. But sometimes it gets hung up. Here's a hint. Sometimes it does get hung up and it won't give you the entire thing. Little hint, you can actually just type continue and it'll pick up where it left off. So There's all sorts of cool things you can do. I want to just, are you working now? Did you take the day off? All right, let me see. Let me see if I can just do a hard reload. Okay. Let me see if I can get it to start again. All right. It was so fun actually hearing it talk, and it actually sounds better than Simon. But
just have Simon start reading it off for you.
Let me see here. Hello, can you hear me? No, it looks like the plugin broke. Yeah, it looks like the plugin broke. So I'm just gonna have to type. Oh, anyway, that's okay, because we've heard enough from Jarvis here, and I think now it's good to kind of, we could just show examples now. It was neat to hear it talk. It was novel. Let me just check the settings real quick. No, I don't know why it did it. So anyway, probably have to restart Chrome, and I don't want to do all that. So anyway, let's have it. I think somebody said, yeah, let's have it see if we can generate a payload for Rubber Ducky. It might ask us what we want the payload to do. So let's see. Can you create a payload for, is it one word, Rubber Ducky? I don't know. We'll see. All right. A Rubber Ducky payload is a script that is programmed to perform a specific set of actions when plugged into a computer. So here's an example.
Wow.
There you go. Now we might have to tell it to, like, okay, to specifically do something, but yeah. So, and it tells you, and it gives you an example. This payload will open the run dialog, and it tells you exactly, what it does and how to use it. And so, okay, this is a really good one here. And so, there's some really good ideas coming in. I have no idea what this is. So I'm going to, can it code? And you know what? I don't even know what that is. So this would be really awesome here. I'm going to try this. So,
Kean's a game developer, maybe related to that.
Oh, well, we need to talk.
He's open for work as well.
Oh, really? We need to talk. I need to say, can you? Provide. It's gonna say it. It's gonna say it can't code, but it can provide you in examples here. So let's see if this will. Wow. Well, it actually tells us what I didn't know what that was. This is new to me. Oh, I'm sorry for the echo. I can turn that off real quick. Thanks for letting me know. I forgot to turn the audio off on the system audio, since, well, it doesn't even need it anymore. I wish I didn't kill it. I kill everything I love. That's not true. My kids and dog and wife are all still alive. But all right.
We need proof of life now.
All right. Hey, I know for a fact that there's somebody in chat who literally just recently, he saw my wife and kids recently. So, all right. So there you go. Wow. So there you go. This is the first time. Well, I was shocked when I first started using ChatGPT, and I haven't been shocked since. This is the first time I'm actually been shocked since. This is where I have to say, my friend always says, when it comes to AI and stuff like that, he said, do you want Terminators? Because this is how you get Terminators. And that's why I have got these two friends behind me here. But so Jess, tell me a little bit about, specific tasks. We've taken a look at example code and cybersecurity stuff. That's the wrong one. Cybersecurity stuff here in terms of, how would you, number one, I think we've already established, at least right now, that it's close to being able to replace an entry-level position of many different industries, but it does require supervision. It requires knowledge, and it requires some baseline knowledge of kind of what you're looking for. I know when I'm doing game programming and asking examples, I have to kind of be the director. So, how would you, can you use this to help your career, to help you as an entry level position? Could this really accelerate, or those maybe looking to get into a position, SOC analyst or whatever, could this kind of elevate your, not position, but not your station, but could it really elevate your skill level immediately?
I think so, because I don't have the IT background. So, I'm playing catch up on that, and I'm learning more and more every day. But even my husband's been in IT for 20 years, and I'll ask him about a process sometimes, and he's like, I don't know what that is. And so I've asked ChatGPT, I'm like, hey, what does this mean? Like earlier, just what the CH mod for Linux means. I mean, I knew what that meant, but I was wondering if it could actually answer that, and it does. And it can answer things like, what is port 4444? Because that's a common port that like Metasploit uses and some other programs like that. And it can answer what these things generally are. And so I think that's really helpful. And so I could see that being useful. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've had it generate. There was a problem for a couple of years, something I'm trying to do, or the kind of a side feature at ThreatGEN, and none of us have been able to figure out how to get it to do this particular thing. And it's kind of a secret project, so I can't tell you what it is. But ChatGPT figured it out in seconds, and it works. So I've had it. Here's some ideas, right? I mean, you can have it generate YAML, YAML signatures or code. You can have it use it. You can have it generate Python scripts for packet parsers and things like this. So here's something interesting, right? So like, so just for OT, right? And so, can you give me a Python script that will, let's see, accept a PCAP file from a Profinet, an industrial protocol, by the way, from a Profinet packet, and parse it. So, and it that can parse a PCAP file that contains Profinet packets. So, and I'm going to see real quick if it actually. So check if the packet is a Profinet. Type Profinet. So it's actually literally using. So this does require whatever library it's using for the network parsing. It requires it to know about that protocol, and in this case, it does. So, like for example, if you have some proprietary Rockwell or GE protocols, it's not going to be able to parse that, as far as I know. I mean, but this is pretty scary on what it can do. And so the the chat is just really cracking me up here. There was one about, can it here this is while it's doing its thing here, can it look after children, asking for a friend. I'm that friend. I mean, no, not really, but I mean, yeah, can it take my dog for a walk? Can it watch the children? So before we get into where we can go with this, Simon, from your perspective, talking to CISOs and things like that, what are some of the aspects you can see this helping from the CISO perspective, from cybersecurity management?
I think for me, it's what the person you met in San Francisco or wherever it was a while back, was it the blind hacker, who said about using it to dumb down some of the technical speak. I think some of the biggest challenges when you speak to CISOs is getting the C-suite and the board in general to engage with what they're doing and understand it. One could argue that maybe ChatGPT could be a big help for people who are very, very technical. And you hear a lot of people in the industry say that there's a skills shortage for kind of the communication aspect in the leadership part. Well, maybe there won't be anymore. I think for me, that could be the biggest win.
Yeah, I never thought about that. I always thought about the opposite, right? And management taking technical concepts and saying, can you make
Mm.
sense of this for me? But the opposite, yeah, would be like, I'm a techie and I can't speak executive. Can you take this and put it in an executive summary for me? That's a really good point. And I think I was going to ask it to give me an outline for cybersecurity policy here. And then, because what you can do, you can tell it to give me an outline for something. It'll give you an outline. And then you can say, okay, expand on this section. Give me more details on this section. And just continue the conversations like you're speaking to a human. So I was going to have it do that. And it looks like it's going to crap out on us. It looks like it's probably at capacity. You do get that a lot.
I suppose you could then map that to whichever framework you're using as well and take it a step further, couldn't you?
Absolutely. And start, whether you're talking about NIST 853, 62443 or whatever. So I don't, it's not acting right.
I mean,
here.
for me at the moment, the biggest threat, I think, is the social engineering aspect, where all of a sudden these badly written approaches that we receive on a daily basis from threat actors suddenly become far more eloquent and more difficult to spot.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I've already seen that happen. I'm starting. There we go. So I've already seen the quality of the bad English spam coming through. I've already seen the quality improvement. You've already heard about people using it to automate malware, to use it to create better crafted emails for spam, for phishing, email phishing, and things like that. So there's definitely a risk to cybersecurity, but I think there's also a benefit, right? And where does that balance out? It's used properly. I personally feel like that the risk outweighs the risk. I mean, the benefit outweighs the risk.
Yeah.
And I think because it's kind of like an unstoppable force meets the immovable object kind of thing, in that we're going to be using this to counter the very thing that people are using it to attack us with. It's kind of
I think with comment keyings put in there as well, I think this is the real thing we need to think about. What's it going to be like in 5 years' time? If this is what it's like now, we need to be starting to prepare for what this thing can do in the future, because it's quite scary.
Well, yeah, so ChatGPT 4 is supposed to come out this year, and and by the way, look at this. I mean, this is the cybersecurity policy outline that it gave us, and you can say, okay, so can you provide more detail on part 6? I don't know. So ChatGPT 3, it has like some billion, like 2 billion or something like that. We can actually ask it how many, but ChatGPT 3 has, like, for lack of a better phrase, like 2 billion transformers or something like that. And ChatGPT 4 is actually supposed to be in the trillions. And if ChatGPT 3 is already here, it's amazing where we're going to be, like you said, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And yeah, we're kind of reaching our limit a little bit, I think. So by the way, there's a limit on the amount of requests you can have per hour. I don't think we've reached that here. Also, this is the ChatGPT version. It's built off of OpenAI's GPT-3 engine, like we said, and we're already working on building a GPT API call engine into Red versus Blue for some certain things, for analytics and stuff like that. And so, companies are already starting to use this, like the back end engine, and that costs money every time you make a call or reference a prompt, but it's in the sense, right? It's really inexpensive. It's cost effective, and yeah, it looks like it's crapping out on us here.
Not being a techie, whilst I don't understand the ins and outs of the API functions, I understand from speaking to people who do know what they're talking about that it's pretty awesome when it comes to its ability to connect with everything. And I think we're already seeing this year a plethora of new businesses come out that are utilizing ChatGPT or OpenAI in the background. And I think from a growth perspective, it's going to be really interesting to see which companies succeed doing that. I mean, customer service is without a doubt moving away from cybersecurity. I mean, this is a game changer for my bank help app that I've been struggling with, trying to deal with a banking issue earlier today. I'd like to think this could improve that. But can we talk about what jobs it won't affect, because we've got a lot of people, in the chat who are either breaking in or only been in recently, and we're saying here that this could be a game changer and mean that you don't need entry-level people anymore. Where should we be looking then if we want to break into the industry, Clint?
Well, I saw a really good meme that actually was produced by ChatGPT on LinkedIn. It was a ChatGPT group, not ChatGPT itself, but I guess the work group. And they said it was something to the effect of ChatGPT is not going to replace jobs, but it's going to replace people that don't use, or AI is not going to replace jobs, but it's going to replace people that don't use AI. And so I guess I was also kind of having the same conversation with my wife, and that there are schools that are banning ChatGPT because people are able to cheat on exams and essays and homework and things like that. And my comment was, stop trying to use new technology for old methods. If you're trying, and so, of course, if you're still trying to do old teaching methods, old tests and essays and stuff like that, then yeah, the technology is going to supersede that, allow people to cheat. Change the way that you're using it. And it's the same thing for cybersecurity, right? If you're worried about it replacing your job, then, or a job that you want, learn how to use it to enhance yourself in that job. Use it to make yourself inexpendable. So go ahead, Jess.
I was going to say, there are a lot of the seams out there that do use machine learning already. And, you think about those systems, and they have really good detection, but sometimes they're reading the signature of things, and sometimes the signature of good things give off the signature of bad things. So currently, if you look at every alert that says, hey, this is a virus or this is a threat, and you alert every customer, you're alerting them to normal system processes. And, so with something like the AI, I think that it will grow as that machine learning grows. And like you said, if you learn how to use it, there you are. If you're going to get left behind in technology, I'm not trying to sound mean. If you're going to be left behind in technology, this might not be the field for you anyway, because it does require constant learning.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, and that's true. And it really is, there's a part of humanity to this that, at least for right now, that can't be replaced. I think I saw in chat, sales, right? Sales thing. You're not going to replace doctor's bedside manner. You're not going to replace psychology, psychiatrists. You're not going to replace customer service for the most part. I'm not talking about like chat customer service and technical support, customer support. I'm talking about retail sales. You're not going to replace, technology. Robots can replace burger flippers, but you're not going to replace the marketing, the creativity. You're not going to replace a lot of innovation. For example, like I did say, it's like, okay, you can do this. I don't know if it'll work, but give me an idea for a best selling Android game, right? And I don't know there, and so it can come up with this kind of stuff, right? But it can.
I'd play that.
Yeah, so it can only give you information based off of the training data that it had, right? It can't. One thing that humans can do that an AI can't do, and I don't know AI will ever be able to do it, and not in our lifetime or my children's lifetime, is come up with an idea that has not been that no one's had, or come up with an idea that uses minimal to no prior references, right? And the AI can't look at the human condition and say, here's a need that needs to be solved, and I'm going to invent something to solve it, right? It requires the human experience to be able to come up with those innovations, and an AI will never be able to do that because it will never have the human condition.
Well, my concern is that AI might have the human condition, in as much as you look at what you mentioned earlier about the hate speech and the divisiveness that some of these have come out with. God help us if this gets connected to the internet and actually learns behaviors from society at the moment, because let's be honest, it's pretty toxic.
it's not learning those behaviors though. It's repeating patterns. It's repeating
Yeah.
what humans have taught it, right? It's when I'm talking about human experience, I'm talking about the, you know, I am a life form that has experienced a struggle that I need a solution for. And I think maybe that's a concept that we can put into code and that we can put into binary but I think that, you know, there are things about the human condition that cause us to be human that you know that AI is not going to be experienced. So anytime you have those jobs are not going to be replaced, right? So anything that is just referenceable knowledge or skills that can be replicated, but the ability to use it to solve problems that you as a human have cannot be replicated. And that's where you need to be thinking in terms of how do I use AI to really enhance my life.
I think if you're in the creative industry in any respect, this has got to be the strongest tool set you'll ever be given. I think, you know, this can make marketers' jobs a damn sight easier than they have been for a long time. I think we'll see a lot of that this year.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I can't get to. There's so much great chat going on about, you know, making, you know, really talking about, you know, humans and, you know, like basically the state of cinema. Humans can't think original ideas. I agree. There's so much, you know, in general, you know, yeah. I mean, yeah, looking at current movies and TV series, we keep repeating ourselves and doing things like that. But you know, I think you guys get what I'm saying in that it really requires human experience to be able to understand what solutions we need for certain things and but you know, the cinema is a good point. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to take advantage of this technology as it grows, and people are taking advantage of right now to create things that they can sell. Like, for example, people are just creating crap. They're creating. Well, there we go. I just, you know, just now it can't be. This can't. LinkedIn is going to strike this one.
No monetization on YouTube.
But. So there are you know, there are people that are creating crap courses and selling them on Udemy now, and because it can just auto generate. You take tools like ChatGPT and Pictory.ai and a bunch of other tools. You combine them, and you can just have ChatGPT. You can have the AI generate things that you have no clue about, and so you're having non-experts create things and courses. You have people creating art. Beautiful art, and they have no artistic ability, maybe an eye for it, but so there's going to be a lot of people that, you know, that could be replaced, and certain levels of what I would call fake creativity that could be replaced. But I think if it goes back to, if you understand how to, if you are a creative person and you're a person where you feel like your job is threatened, cybersecurity, whatever, and you understand how to leverage the technology, you're not going to be replaced. You're going to enhance your own ability.
Yeah, I completely agree. Can you dispel the myth that Carey's put in chat that ChatGPT doesn't tell as good a jokes as he does, Clint?
Oh, okay. What kind of
sounds like a challenge to me.
Okay. You know what? How about this? Tell me a pun about a person named Carey.
Let's hope this is polite. No offense intended, Carey.
Yeah. And do I have that? Just want to make sure. Yeah. Okay. Is it? I can't see it. Okay. Is it RY or REY?
RY.
Okay. There we go. Why did Carey get kicked out of the library? Because he was always carrying books out.
That's pretty good.
That is a very Carey pun.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? I'm gonna have to say, you know what? In those of you that don't know Carey, Carey is a, you know, regular in the Simply Cyber community, the InfoSec Live community, the ThreatGEN community, on every stream, and our pun aficionado. So we appreciate the jokes and the puns, but I don't think that AI is going to replace Carey anytime soon. So,
oh, brilliant, Carey! Oh no, ChatGPT is going to get carried away.
Touche. So, all right. So we're coming up on about 5 minutes here. You know, let's get some final thoughts. Jess, what are your final thoughts on this whole thing? How it can help you? Any fears that you have? Where this all might go?
It's still so new and it's still so limited. I think that we're going to be able to move along with it. That's what I'm hoping anyway. But I see it right now as a tool where you can look up definitions, meanings. I think it's cool. I'm not too worried about it. And I feel right now that I'm not in charge of that. So worrying about that won't do me any good. All I got to do is keep up on my job and keep moving the best I can.
Outstanding. Yep. I agree. Simon?
Everything Jessica said. I think if you're working in the industry, you need to be a continuous learner. I think if you get left behind on this, it could affect you in lots of ways, especially when it comes to employment, and being able to showcase what you can do with it could even become part of the recruitment process, depending on some roles moving forward. So I've written down a few things from this. I need to know more about Pictory AI. I need to learn about Midjourney, and I need to practice with Talk to GPT. So that's my summary before I get left behind.
What do you have to say for those who are afraid you might replace cybersecurity professionals or any other profession? What do you have to say for yourself? Yeah, and anybody can go to ChatGPT and ask this question. I don't want to take it's. Like I said, we're kind of reaching the network capacity. It's very clogged up right now, and that happens. So that brings up my point, right? Is that and to piggyback on what you said, Simon, which is use the technology, leverage the technology, but do not become dependent on the technology. Oh, here it goes. As a language model, my function is to assist users in generating human-like text based on the patterns and associations learned from the training data. I am not designed to replace cybersecurity professionals or any other professional, but rather to assist and augment their work. The main goal of AI and machine learning models is to automate and improve the processes in different industries and make the work of the professionals more efficient. However, these models still require human supervision, expertise, and interpretation of the results. In the case of cybersecurity, the use of AI and machine learning can assist cybersecurity professionals in identifying and mitigating threats, but it still requires the expertise of a human to make the final decision and take action. Moreover, it's important to note that AI and machine learning models are only as good as the data they are trained on. Therefore, the accuracy and reliability of these models can only be as good as the quality and diversity of the data that it's trained on, and it's not uncommon for these models to make mistakes and require human oversight to correct them. In summary, AI and machine learning models are powerful tools that can assist and augment the work of professionals in various industries, but they should not be seen as a replacement for human expertise and judgment. I would expect an AI to say that.
You were. Then what it says at the end is yet, and then it says yet with a nefarious chuckle.
Yeah. Yet. Oh, here, stop generating. Hey, yeah, yet. Wow, too many requests in 1 hour. Yeah, just like Banhammer. Anyway, wow, right at the end of our stream, and it says too many requests. So yeah, I would say that I was using this thing so much when it first came out, and then when I got my first, it's reached capacity, and I couldn't access it for a day. I was like a heroin addict in withdrawal, and I was like shaking and itching. It was like, I can't get access to it, and I tell me how to do my sales proposal. But so it's I think that, like all things, right? You don't want to get dependent on it. You still have to understand, do your own learning, do your own research, use it to make your life easier. I have it do mundane tasks. I have it do things that are repetitive, or I have it do things that, take time, and then I go over it and look over it. It's not going to replace you knowing technology. At some point, if you're using this to augment your knowledge without actually going through and gaining the knowledge, you're going to be exposed. So I think it is a good point that, it's used to augment this. Now, Where does this go in the future? I don't know, but it's certainly going to be interesting to watch, right? I definitely think that this is going to be one of those things to where we need to keep an eye on it. I think that it's exciting, but here's the other thing about not relying on it is that this isn't something that you can download and own. This is these services are online. So if you don't have internet, you don't have access to them. If these companies decide to stop offering these services, you've lost access to it. What if they get, and this is my tinfoil hat, what if they get everybody dependent on this technology and then all of a sudden they say, okay, now you're gonna pay an arm and a leg for it.
It's the freemium. The freemium.
Yeah,
model.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, the first hit's free. So you know, I think that, you know, that's it. Tread cautiously. Be excited. Use it. Tread cautiously. I don't think that it's going to, for all these reasons we talked about, it's not going to replace anybody's job or career, but it can certainly augment entry level. It can augment the. It can augment. I guess that's the thing. It can augment, right? So anyway, all right. So we are out of time. You know, thank you, Jess, for being on the show, first timer, and so I hope you get to come on future shows. And congratulations, by the way, on your. I know it's been a few months now, but you know, getting into cybersecurity, finally getting your degree, and becoming a SOC analyst. I hope that's real fun for you. So, and Simon, thank you for coming on the show as usual. And thank you for everyone in the audience, of course. And, you know, we wouldn't do these shows if we didn't have audience. And so please be sure and hit the like button if you got value from this. Please be sure and subscribe to us if you want to see more shows like this. And, you know, with that said, everyone, I wasn't prepared for my outro, but yeah. So anyway, with that said, take care, everyone. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
See you later. Thanks.